Well, this Veterans Day, USAA is going beyond thanks with the launch of Honor Through Action. This is a $500 million commitment over the next 5 years that to strengthen the military community. So it's bringing NFL veteran and current offensive tackle over at the Arizona Cardinals, Kelvin Beachum. Kelvin, great to see you as always. So tell us a little bit about your connection to the military and the military members that you have in your life.
Man, I'm blessed and fortunate to have so many military members, those that are active, those that are deceased, those that are still serving as reserved, that have provided this opportunity for me to play this great game, but also serve our great country. So whether it's immediate family, cousins, uncles, great uncles, which I've had a number of great uncles that served in World War II and Vietnam. So man, just excited to be able to honor them with the time that we usually set aside every year during this time of the year to really honor them and be able to just continue the legacy that they provided, being able to serve our country, and then also being able to serve their communities as well.
Yeah, I too have family members who either served or are currently serving in armed forces right now, so I totally get that. Let's talk about your connection to the military. How does it sort of shape your approach to your everyday life, but also how you sort of connect with your teammates as well?
At the end of the day, you have people that are serving and giving their lives for something that's bigger than themselves. And when you think about that in relation to football, this is not war. This is not life threatening, but you have people that are coming together from all different walks of life that are coming together for a mission, and that's winning a game on Sunday. So, there's a lot of parallels between people that are wanting to, kind of die to themselves and do what's best for the mission at the end of the day. And at the end, in our game, in our profession, it's about finding ways to win games. And I think very similar to the military, you have people that are different ethnicities, different religions, different backgrounds, different social economic backgrounds, and you have the same thing in the locker room. Different religions, different ethnicities, different, socioeconomic backgrounds that all come together to find a way to work together. And I think more than anything, what the military has done and exceeded at is finding ways to work together in spite of what's going on around us. And I think you think about the same thing within a football locker room is you can't think about all the external factors that are happening. You got to focus on what's in the locker room, focus on what you can do together, and find a way to accomplish something together. And I think when you think about both the military and sports, there's that collaboration and that togetherness that's so important.
Kelvin, you have been a Walter Payton Award nominee. How have you sort of used your NFL platform to highlight the military community?
But just being a nominee, it really does lend itself to the opportunity to really highlight things that you find to be important. And I've been blessed, like I said at the onset, that I've had great family members, both immediate cousins and things of that nature, those that are in reserve right now, that continue to serve our country. So as a nominee, you have the opportunity and the platform to really just highlight them, to use this platform to really shift the awareness to the people that may not, get to hear about themselves too often. And, think about, the pleasures that we have in this country right now, the fact that we're having a communication digitally, and we're not worried about anything that's coming over our heads or planes or bombs or any of those things. Like, that's a great place to be, knowing that people that we know well have served to ensure the freedoms that we have here in America today.
How would you say the NFL's relationship is with the military community, and how did they sort of highlight a lot of these stories and connections like players like yourself have to the community?
I think you have, here in Arizona, you have, people that actually played in the National Football League, played for the Arizona Cardinals, and also served in the military. So when you have those types of real relationships and real stories, it really does lend itself to allowing us to talk about the connection in a very organic manner. You have you mentioned USAA, the work that they've done with the National Football League. Some of it is funny. I think the storytelling has really provided a great platform to really just talk about how important the military is and how we need each other. When things that have happened in America have happened in our history, you've had football and sport to be able to bring people back together. When you've had, again, some of the things that have taken place around our sport that needed the military, you have the military that's there to protect us. So those things go hand in hand as far as that collaboration between the two.
Obviously, you play with the Arizona Cardinals, and famously, Pat Tillman, probably one of the most famous military members of the NFL. How would you say the Cardinals have sort of continued to honor his legacy and continue to keep his name alive?
You actually walk by they actually have a glass case of his jersey that you walk by every day in the building. So it is a consistent reminder. And then one of the things that Coach Gannon does is every week he honors the Pat Tillman Player of the Week. Somebody that's practiced just extremely hard. And that number 40 is given to that particular player during that week. So it is something that we in the organization take a lot of pride in and see it every single day. So we see that number 40 in practice, every single practice. And then literally we walk by that case that has his jersey and talks about his legacy and his impact on a consistent basis as well.
As I mentioned at the top, USAA donating $500 million over the next 5 years to strengthen the military community. Let's talk about the importance of these funding initiatives, Kelvin, like what USAA is doing, and how important these are.
I think more now than ever, we as a entire kind of society, especially Americans, need to just realize how important our military is, and to see them receiving these types of funds, that it's impacting people at a granular level and at a macro level. You think about what's going on in society right now with kind of the government shutdown right now. Who is it impacting? It's impacting a lot of Americans, but it's also impacting a lot of our veterans. So to see USA stepping in the gap and being able to provide something of this magnitude, especially, it's going to impact a number of folks.
Obviously, Veterans Day right around the corner.
Mhm.
What do you do to sort of celebrate Veterans Day? And what are you planning to do this year on Veterans Day?
Man, anytime I can spend time with family, that's always special. Like I said, have a number of folks that are still serving, so always have opportunity to just shoot them a note, a kind note. But for me, it's always been able to start and check on family, those who have served and those who are currently serving, and just seeing, engaging where they're at, talking with family about them. But anytime you can be able to highlight those that are near and dear to you during this time of year, I think it's so important.
Amen. So well said. Offensive tackle for the Arizona Cardinals, Kelvin Beachum. Kelvin, always a pleasure to have you here with us at Front Office Sports. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Anytime, Baker. Thanks so much.